In 1843, the Free Church left the Church of Scotland and created buildings like this. They built buildings that were tall like this, or that would demonstrate a protesting that we believe in God, Father, Son, and Spirit. It's called Trinity. That's the Trinity, Father, Son, and Spirit. So they were saying something about that, and the building itself, the windows, you'll notice, are asymmetrical. They're not symmetrical. There was a protest here. The Free Church were protesting about the right and ability of people to call their own minister. That's what they were saying. We want to be able to call our own minister. So we're leaving the Church of Scotland, where the landed gentry, where politics were getting involved, where church and state were getting merged. They wanted to make a clear statement that Jesus Christ is the head of our church, and we have the right to call our own minister.
The church then was just beautiful. The pulpit was just, everybody couldn't do anything else but admire it. It was just lovely. When we left the church, everything was fine, and then of course things got in the roof and the pigeons got in, and then vandals get in, and unfortunately they broke up the whole of the stone pulpit, which was sad because everybody just loved it.
The trust was set up in '76 and it was provided with a trust deed which required that it protect and restore the building for use as a community centre to encourage education and recreation. It was formed by the Saltire Society along with Irvine Development Corporation, and Cunningham District Council and Strathclyde Regional Council at that time all supported the trust when it was being established. The Trust did make various attempts to carry out repairs and did carry out significant repairs throughout its time to the building. And made various appeals for funding in that time too, and was in discussions with grant funding agencies and got significant financial support. The building was used during the period of the trust by various local organisations. During the day it was mainly used as a nursery. In the evenings it was used by a local dance school, karate classes, and for other local events, performances, tea dances and so on. So it was well used.
I was left here when my parents would go shopping. There was a daycare facility and my parents would go shopping, and apparently I hated it, but that changed over the years.
Years ago when I was a little girl, probably about 3 or 4, this was the first play school that I ever came to. Probably started to dancing when I was about 4. Maybe around about just getting into primary 1. I'd done Janice Marshall dancing here. So yeah, play school, and obviously this is where I first come to dance. So it was always full of life, the Trinity Church, and always busy, always people coming up and down from it, which was good.
There were several projects here. We restored the big rose window first time in 1982, and I really couldn't say how long it took us, but there had been a really bad storm, and what we think happened is that slates blew off the roof and were just battered by the wind into the window and came through, and it was actually the face of Matthew in the rose window was broken, and we restored that in 1982.
It was very difficult for the Trust to ensure sufficient income to keep up the maintenance of the building. By 1997 there were considerable problems with the steeple, and the building had to be closed for repairs. So at that time we had sent out notice to the various users of the building that would have to close, and it didn't reopen after that. There were various interests throughout the period of the Trust that came forward with ideas for its use, and the Trust made significant efforts in carrying out various feasibility studies to find a sustainable use for the building. Some of the interests that came forward were as a climbing centre. There were proposals to redevelop it for residential purposes, for housing. There were people interested in developing it as a bar and restaurant. And there was even a proposal to re-erect the building in Japan, to effectively take it down stone by stone and build it back up again in Tokyo Harbour, similar to the church in Dreghorn.
the building had been lying empty, and there'd not only been vandalism from outside, there'd also been vandalism from inside, and it was really badly damaged. And that took 3 of us working full time for the whole of the summer. I couldn't say exactly how long, but I would estimate about 6 months. Well, there was probably more work than there would have been making the angel window and the rose window. Making them from scratch, it would have been easier to make them from scratch rather than restore them. There was quite a lot of things that take a long time, like colour matching. You know, you've never got exactly the same glass they use, but you want the very nearest for colour and texture, and that can take a long time. At that point, I didn't run a full team, there were only 3 of us. So 3 of us got it out, and that was, we were working at our limit with 3 people. And then a different team put them in. But the team of 3, we were integral. We all had our own specialisms, but we all worked really hard on it. It was really interesting, and it's a good team.
restoration of the bridge gate was complete. I took over as the conservation area officer in 2015, and as such the building sits in the Irvine conservation area. It came under my remit. At the time we were looking at ways to try and utilise the church itself as an informal performance space, art gallery. You know, it was all sorts of ideas.
And a couple of years back, when there was a performance in the main part of the church, and the kids were in and they were dancing, and there was artists in and they were showing off their artwork, it was absolutely fantastic. It's such an amazing space. It's got a great aura about it. You know, when you walk into the room, it's just got a really, really nice feeling, and it was nice to see it come to life.
Margaret has had some fantastic, lots of art, really massive pieces, and they worked really well in such a big space. It was a great opportunity to open the church. It gave people a chance to go in, see her work, and also see inside the building for the first time in a lot of years. To me, Trinity Church is just one of the riches of Irvine. It's right in your face. The town is genuinely richer for having the building in the town centre. We're lucky to have such a beautiful building.
I'm really passionate about the Trinity. I think it's a beautiful building. The rose windows, all the stained glass, it's just beautiful to see all the colours on a sunny day. The building itself, standing over the town, I think is one of the key steeples when you come into Irvine, and it just represents so much in terms of the history of the old town, because so much of that was lost in the 60s and 70s, and Trinity is one of the few remaining buildings that really represents old Irvine for me and for a lot of people in the town.
There's not many towns have such beautiful things like this, and we're really lucky to have it, so it's just nice to see it coming back to life. It's just about creating memories and keeping that going, because it's such a great space and a great building.
I love the windows, the carvings, the sheer scale of that tower out there. I love standing beside it and looking up. again, it's an image of strength and power to me.
Well, the Trinity Church building to me is the Irvine skyline. It's here as a marker, and one of the main reasons I imagine it's been retained in our town and historically recognised as significant. You can't imagine Irvine town without the Trinity spire. For this place to continue, it needs to be more than just a spire in the skyline. It needs to be a place where people are active, people are involved, people are making a difference in our community. So that's what I certainly hope will happen, that it will become much more than a huge spire in our skyline.
Well, this is Jenny Adrain, and I'm 91, and I belong to Trinity Church all my days. But it means a lot to me. I still think it's a lot to me. And when I thought it was maybe going to be demolished, I thought, oh no, surely not. And I see that gentleman too, from Australia. He said, if that church comes down, everything's finished. That's the words he said. And I said, oh, it's not coming down, luckily. I said, we know it's been neglected for a long time, but it's not coming down. He says, that's good. And so it would be. Irvine wouldn't be the same without it.